Is gonna hear the happy birthday?
I hope.
We're in Nina, so we have an active lunch service with 120 covers, so you're enjoying it. Hi, Yara, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to Surreal. I'm so happy and grateful to have you. Thank you for your time. You've only started doing podcast interviews recently.
4 months ago. Now, yeah, very much enjoying it. That's why we're here. Another one.
You prefer them over?
No, I just in the beginning of 2025, I had a challenge of forcing myself onto being in front of the camera because I've been behind the camera all this time. I love taking pictures and videos. At some point, I was like doing it, like I was traveling, filming for people. So in 2025, at the beginning, I was like, okay, I need the challenge, so I'm gonna challenge myself to be in front of the camera, even though I didn't hate being in front of the camera. I hated seeing myself there. So now I'm getting better.
But you know, it's quite interesting you're saying that, because I actually told one of my friends, I was like, oh my God, I'm interviewing Yara for my podcast, which I'm so excited to do. And she was like, I just associate her so much with the entire like Pachamama group. And like, it's so nice that she's so out there, because, you know, it's like a personal connection to the audience. I doubt anyone that listens to this hasn't about any of your restaurants. But can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
So I'm currently the head of brands for 971 Hospitality, and I'm the one who is overseeing the let's say the brand development and everything to do with Zephyr, Bottarga, Nina, Lagana, Soraya. We have a few upcoming brands coming that are in work right now. But basically, I'm part of an amazing team that develops it, opens it, and makes sure that it's tasty, it's out there. So yeah.
You've had an interesting experience, you know, getting to where you are now. Can you tell us a bit about that?
It wasn't planned. So a lot of people like, what is the way to get to a work or like a job that you do? And I was actually just studying, and I was planning on being in maybe in the finance world. That was like, let's say 15 years ago, when I was slowly finishing school and thinking. And yeah, it's been a long way of studying. Then I used to do filming, and then I met friends through friends, and then I was still studying and hanging out in the original Pachamama in 2015, and then I decided to intern and help a bit with the social media. So I took over certain things, and then I was doing photo shoots, and then we were eating out a lot all together, and like I started seeing real restaurants from the moment I started hanging out with the Pachamama team, and then it just evolved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you say food has been like always a part of like your upbringing?
Yes, but in a very humble way. So like food for us was we had a rule at home, I think like a tradition more than a rule, that we would always have breakfast together and we would always have dinner together. But we were growing up in a very small village at the beginning, so obviously we were culturally not like used to going out or something. That's why dinner together at home makes sense, because you always eat at home. Unless you go to your grandma's house. So yeah, it was great. And then my aunt, she bakes cakes. She has like a business. She does it for a living. So she's like in hospitality business kind of. And then I was never planning on being in hospitality business, but I was always like respecting food. And for us, again, when you come to our houses, number one thing we do is we put everything out that we have.
Where are you originally from?
So I grew up in the far east of Russia. My dad is Cherkasy, from the mountains.
Yeah, we have a lot of them in Jordan. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember this. One thing about Jordan is that I know there's so many Cherkasy people living there. Exactly. So for us, culturally, the food is part of like welcoming people, and
it's part of the hospitality.
Exactly.
Yeah. Similar to like Arab culture, I would say. Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. Yeah. So you moved here with zero experience when it came to like, hospitality and all that.
Yeah.
And you were yet involved in the first opening of Chicama, if I'm not.
Yeah, Chicama, yes.
Yeah.
First, when I started in being an intern, the guys already had Pachamama, and that was the first one they had, and they've opened it in 2014, and then I came around in 2015, and then yes, I was present at the opening, and I was trying to help and like guide the photo shoot or like participate in the tastings. I was the reason the head chef walked out on the third week of opening. I don't remember exactly, but it was a stressful opening, and it was the first opening for me, and everyone was involved. Like everyone was carrying plates and cleaning and helping everyone. And yeah, I just didn't get along with the head chef, and I remember him saying to the guys like, "It's either her or me," and then everyone was like, bye. Yeah, it was interesting. But again, it was the first ever opening for me. It was stressful, but I don't remember half of it, to be honest, because I feel like there's been so much going on that the only thing I remember is when our like extraction broke or the light went off or we couldn't close the what's it called, the securities didn't work, the alarms didn't work, so me and the manager just decided to sleep in the restaurant on the sofa.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was a child, I was a student, like it was an amazing experience. And also one thing about those times is that I had like unlimited amount of energy.
Yeah.
So I was what 22. So I would go to Barry's bootcamp at like 6 a.m. and then I would come and see what's happening, and I would still like write my dissertation or something. It's been fun times, to be honest. Yeah.
Would you say that the opening of that restaurant was like more or less the turning point in your career?
No. That was Zephyr.
Zephyr.
So we still had we opened Chicama, then we opened Pachamama East. We opened and then Corona Pass, and fresh off Corona, Zephyr would be the turning point for me. Because Chicama and Pachamama East were still part of the Peruvian narrative that we had, and something that I've learned with the team and inherited it from the team we already had. So Chicama had some foundation in Pachamama menu, or like Pachamama East was built off like we had like similar dishes, similar direction, and then Zephyr would be like something new for all of us.
It was like a brand new idea.
Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to open when we signed it. It was supposed to be Japanese.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we were just thinking that we couldn't pull it off properly to the level that we wanted. In the times how it was very scary after Corona, and a lot of uncertainty, and just like ingredients are going up, and like the staff cost and this and that. So like we were just brainstorming, and then we loved Greek food, and there was not many places that we personally loved. So in 2 weeks of brainstorming, we just decided that Greek is what we want to do next. So yeah, Zephyr would be the turning point for me, and I feel like the maturity point for me, because before that I'm still considering myself a child. I'm 32, and I feel like I'm still young, and I'm still learning, and I'm still like making mistakes. But at the same time, that would be the maturity point to me. And like my life changed a lot back then, because also I've that year I found my biological dad like few months before Zephyr opening, and I flew to meet him and the family. And then I had like first relationships going on and things like that. So like that moment of my personal life and work was just like all going together.
Would you say that the success you had changed you as a person and like your personality?
I mean, it depends what you define by success.
What's your definition of success? Let's start there.
I actually don't know. For me, I don't know, success is more like I'm a team person, even though I always have my opinion and I always have my own goals and my own interests or something. For me, I enjoy the way with people next to me. So when I was joining the team and the group and feeling like I am gonna stick around was because of the people that were there that inspired me or pushed me or invested into me. So I feel like success is just being surrounded by people that you actually want to spend your life with. So in this sense, I find myself successful because I've succeeded in having a team that I enjoy and also building a team, a younger team that is supporting me as well. So like that is success, because I believe success in terms of like social media or like, okay, busy restaurants or like, it comes and goes. Like, you know that, okay, you're like, right now you have the hottest spots in town. That is amazing. But you never know what happens in 5 years, in 10 years. The trends are going to go. Are you like, obviously, we believe in ourselves and we believe into what we do. But I believe that sort of success is not always there.
It's temporary.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not fully satisfactory. I was actually reading about this the other day. I think it might have been a podcast. But we're so wired to be like, we indulge so much information that make us wired to believe that numbers are in fact the indicators of success. And they are. But in terms of your life, is that really success, or is it like an internal feeling of like being satisfied and happy?
Exactly. It's there's so many people that consider, like, we consider them successful, but they're not happy. So for me, probably being happy is success. Being able to support my family is success. Being able to have genuine friends around me that actually are happy for the steps we are making is success. Having the team members that believe in you and support you is success. Having freedom, some sort of freedom, you're never fully free, even though we think this way, is success. So in this sense, then yeah, going back to what you said, did it change me? Yeah, it does change. Like, not saying success, but just saying like some sort of recognition changes. Yes, 100%. And I'm not gonna say like it's bad or good. It's just different. So because you just acknowledge that, like, okay, I'm proud of making this step, or I'm proud of choosing this, or proud of being part of this. So it does change. I can't say if it's good or bad. This journey changes you anyway.
Have you ever had any type of imposter syndrome in your journey?
I'll always have that. Always. Like, I always feel like deep down there, I'm like, maybe someone else would do it way better than me. So.
But see, that's a hot take on my end, but I think it's healthy to have some sort of imposter syndrome. Because like you're rechecking yourself.
100%, yes. And that's the way. I don't know if it's the same, like, but I always joke with the team and say, like, delusion is the way to go. Like, not in healthy imagination, it's just having dreams. So, like, I don't know if it's similar to having an imposter syndrome, but like, I believe in just having this game with yourself where you imagine things you want and don't limit yourself, and then at some point it does become true.
There's this quote I always go by, and I 100% agree with it. It's like, if it's planted in your head, it's there for a reason.
But you're in charge of it, right? So you can actually help yourself to plan more things.
But then that goes back to you.
Yeah.
If it's like, if you have it in you, why are you stopping yourself from like not pursuing your dreams?
Yeah, that's true.
What's something you would tell your younger self after all of this?
Take care of your health. Don't kill yourself in the gym. Literally, like, the way I had a very difficult journey with my body overall as well. I remember I would just like finish school or work late, like let's say 1 a.m. I get home and I would go on around 10K run at 2 a.m. So instead of doing therapy, I was going on a run. So I feel like it wasn't exercising, it was more like exercising and trying to run away from
your thoughts.
Yeah. And that was the only time that I could actually like allow myself. So I had a period of my life, let's say 2-3 years, where I was just running 10K a day. 10K a day, like I wouldn't stop. And that wasn't something that was making me proud. I didn't understand what I was doing, and I was actually running away from something. So again, this is I wouldn't regret anything, because anything I did on the way made me into who I am right now, and I'm very happy to be who I am, and I wouldn't change anything. But at the same time, health is something that is obviously given once, and it's something you have to look after. So health and like just more attention to the family that you have, and being just nicer to yourself, nicer to your body, nicer to the things you're thinking, and giving yourself a break sometimes. And because I did have a few breakdowns on the way where like it was actually once in this room where I was spent like 3 months in this room on the sofa, a different sofa, but I was like 3 months looking into the ceiling and just being fully drained, and the only person that was responsible for that is me. So maybe not allowing myself to get into this stage.
How do you combat like that type of burnout?
You just allow yourself. Like
You think so?
that's what I did at some point. I just put myself like a limit of let's say okay, you want to cry or you want to just do nothing for like 3 months, okay. But yeah, I did. And I say this to my friends as well. Okay, not 3 months, but I say like allow yourself just to like when you lose something or you get disappointed, like allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to accept it, allow yourself to be like, okay, it's shit, like if it happened. But then obviously you need to get your shit together and climb out. Yeah, for sure. But one thing I would never recommend is to actually drink or do drugs or do anything that will harm you. So on this way, like you want to just watch a movie and just cry, or like, I don't know, go for a walk or see your friends, or like, yeah, but just don't get into like covering your feelings basically with anything.
I think it's important to feel something. If you're like being immune to feeling, I don't think that's a healthy way of living at all.
Oh, no. Exactly. Like, same with like breakups where people were like, oh, I'm just gonna like ignore this. Like, no, like when I went through a breakup, I would just feel it all the way, cry it all the way. Like, okay, today I'm gonna be on the floor crying, yes, but tomorrow I'll get better without ignoring that I feel this way. Or like at some point you get disappointed with your friends or your parents. Like it happens where you separate from your parents in your brain, not like in life, and then you understand that your parents are not maybe always right.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing. I think I'm not sure about your culture, but in mine, it's so like common to like put your parents on a pedestal.
Same.
Like, they're always right.
Same. Yeah.
But then it's 2026. We grew up in complete different ecosystems, Some things they're not going to understand, but they might be right for us, for the way we grew up in.
But I'm fully grateful for the bubble that my parents grew me in, like in a way where I was fully protected from a lot of things, and I would not change the upbringing I had. I would not change the family traditions that I had. I would actually try and replicate it if I have kids and my own family, just because I'm really grateful. But at the same time, yeah, you still like one day you'll wake up and your mom says one thing, but you're like, okay, you're wrong just because you don't know the circumstances and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very grateful for the upbringing I had. Even though I had to work with my therapist for 5 years after to like discuss certain things. But yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's the result that matters, not how long it takes.
Yeah, sure. It's been 6 years now with my therapist. I started in 2020 in May. Yeah, it's going to be 6 years.
I think therapy is the healthiest thing someone can do for their life, because that means you have so much commitment to yourself and you're willing to go through the work just to improve yourself,
I came to therapy when I remember one of my friends was telling me that, oh, it's like the best thing I did in my life. And I was like, look, I went through so much shit in my life. I moved alone to another country. I had no money. I had no support. I had no like this and this and this. So you're telling me right now, after going through all of this, I need therapy. I was like, no, like I'm good. Like I went through all of this. And then she was like, okay, this is exactly what you need. And I'm like, no. And then because Corona hit and I just had time and I was like, okay, fine. Let's just make it as a challenge. And I was lucky enough, the first like request, like the first friend I asked about a therapist that they had recommended me, because I always think that you have to get a therapist in your own language, 100%. They need to understand your culture. They need to understand where you're coming from.
There's always the chemistry as well between you and a therapist.
Yeah. It worked out for us, like it did. A few times I wanted to stop, I remember, but overall I'm happy I continued, because at some point there were a few sessions where I was just sitting there and be like, why do I need this? But then I could understand why. So I'm very happy, and yeah, I had therapy today. Friday is the day I have therapy, so it's quite enjoyable. But yes.
So back to the topic of restaurant curation, your job basically. You have in London, I would say 5, correct me if I'm wrong, restaurants.
Yeah, we have 4 in a bar.
4 and a bar.
Yeah.
Very different, what some would say. Like, I think Bottarga and Zephyr are considered somewhat similar, but like Nina and Zephyr, Nina Bottarga, somewhat
They
different.
were same and different to me at the same time, because obviously I know I know a lot of things that are similar, but at the same time, again, I think this is the power of having a good team, because all of us, we have strengths in certain things that we like or we choose. And one of the best things I learned is to listen to other people, but always make your own decision for sure. Sometimes I would make an advice of not listening to people as well. But in our success, I believe is in the team that we have.
But the question is, where does the inspiration come from for all this? To me, it's art. For example, this, I love it.
But that's not me. That's Lunar, and she's incredible. You know?
I love the art.
Yeah.
Like the art in Nina just says a lot to me.
The art in all the group has nothing to do with me, but it's something that I really respect and admire. But yeah, I'm more into. So I'm basically dealing with food. I'm dealing with elements. I'm dealing with the branding. My team does it, but I find a way where like, okay, I love this. Oh, I don't love this. Okay, let's look into this. Oh, like the naming of the brand, where like, I named Nina and Lagana.
What were they named after?
Nina was the name that I wrote because for us, Nina has that back home. Nina is a name that people use a lot, but mostly like the older generation. So for me, in my brain, that would be a grandmother's name. And at some point, I met a friend for dinner, and she just recently gave birth, and she named her daughter Nina. Wow! And it was a like tiny baby girl, and I was like, wow. So Nina is not the older grandmother; it's more of like it can be anyone. And I was like, that would be a great name for an Italian. And we were looking into actually opening Italian in Mayfair back then. It didn't work out. So when we decided to have a rerun here, we're like, okay, that the Italian is going to be called Nina. So we had this name in our notes for some time, but like Lagana was like 2 weeks before the opening, because we wanted some adventurous name, like 2 words or like something. You know, we were naming it like name drop or like some 6 packs. We were just like having fun. But then at the end of the day, it was the Lagana that caught us. Like Bottarga, Zephyr, Chicama is everyone else naming it. So like everyone in the team had the time when they chose a name that we all loved, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's an amazing name. Let's stick to that. So I believe the beauty of all these concepts is having the input of people that we really trust. Same with the food. Like me personally, when I write the menu with the chef, is I have like lots of screenshots of dishes that I love, or like I love the way they look like. So I would just print like big boards of like food images or like the ideas or the ingredients, and then we would play around with this. And obviously, I believe it comes from like going out a lot and traveling a lot, traveling on social media a lot as well. I believe it's been like few years of us just going out and not creating anything that allowed us to be able to create something later.
How many times do you taste test before putting it on the menu?
Sometimes once, sometimes 20 times.
Wow.
Yeah. It depends how, like, sometimes it just works out and you're like, okay, this is amazing. And sometimes you can fermentation and you have to change.
One thing I need to say on the podcast, the cheesecake at Bottarga actually alters my brain chemistry. How many times was that taste tested?
One chef came up with this and he was like, I think, because I'm not like, I like chocolate, but I'm not like a chocolate person. So like he came up with that. And he was the one who said, I think it was him. This was definitely not my idea about pouring the chocolate on the cheesecake. And when he did it, I was like, you're a genius. Like, it's delicious. Well done.
Amazing.
Yeah. It was once.
My mother actually is celiac, and it just makes her so happy that there's like an amazing rich cheesecake she can have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was like, this is gonna be viral for sure. Like one thing I could say, one thing I love as a hobby is to mention the dishes that are going to make the place viral. And
how
so
often are you
far,
right?
oh, 99%.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. Even like in Zephyr, we had this,
The potatoes?
yeah, potato terrine. And the first version of that potato terrine was horrible, like literally really bad, and no one believed in it. And I was like, guys, if we make it the way that we all like, trust me, like it is gonna be a signature. It is a love or hate. Some people hate it. Some people really hate it. But like people that love it, like it did make it to a signature dish.
I personally love it, and the way it's like put on and plated, it's just so sexy. You look at
I
it and
find
you're
it
like,
sexy.
wow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What's your go-to comfort meal?
I have a few. Since I got back from Monaco, my first 3 days in a row, I was having Nando's. Yeah, I love Nando's. Like you can.
You know, I've never tried it. I've
It's
lived
the
here for
best.
3 years.
No. It was my first restaurant experience, probably in London as well. Maybe I don't know. I guess apart from like someone's pub, you know, because I was a student, we didn't really go out. We didn't have money to go out. That would be like Nando's, and I'm still after trying so many places and going and being able to go out. One meal that never disappoints me is Nando's. That sauce, not the one you buy in the bottle. The bottle one is not like the one. Is the one they have in massive bottles in the restaurant or the small sachets. So I would end up having like these small sachets of takeaway in my bag. Yeah, and I would eat other food with this. So maybe anyone watching it would be like, this girl has no taste because she's eating Nando's and everything with Nando's sauce. But it's like it's just my comfort meal. It's spicy, it's hot, it's amazing. Same with Chipotle. Sometimes I feel
love
like Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah. So like the more you go out for like nice meals, the more you want something very basic.
So you're also on social media very actively.
Lately.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you feel the need to maintain a public image?
No, but social media allows to meet great people. I have met amazing people through social media, so that is the motivation. Where like you never know where it takes you, and also you get friends all over the world. So like I'd go to, let's say, Abu Dhabi to open the restaurant, and I would already have friends, or I would go to Rio de Janeiro and someone would be sending me lists and lists of places to go to. Or we would be opening in Monaco and there would be people coming and just supporting, coming through the door being like, we follow you and we're so excited for the new projects you guys are doing. Like social media, if it's used in the right way, can allow miracles.
Do you feel like it's an extra job?
I feel like it's my main job, really. No, but apart from like day-to-day tasks of supporting whatever we're doing, I feel like that is the priority, because I mean, I'm not only doing my social media, right? I'm overseeing every single thing that goes out from any brand that we have. And people will be like, oh, so you're just a social media manager. I'm like, you create the language behind the brand. Like you're literally, because for us, the main source of traffic within the restaurants, the guests that are finding us, number one is the recommendation. Like the word of mouth for us was always a priority, because you can create the most Instagrammable place, but if it's not tasty, friendly, or it just doesn't have the vibe and the soul, the wave is gonna finish. Like people will come and go and will never come back. So for us, like it's important that anyone who leaves through this door is gonna come out. And when someone's like, okay, where do you recommend me to go tomorrow? That are the first places that they're thinking about.
When Nina first opened, the comments were quite controversial on social media.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Or how did you feel about that?
It's difficult because you obviously take everything personal, everything. But at the same time, it's like we always serve something we believe in and we enjoy and we like. So there's always someone that's not gonna like it. There's so many restaurants in London that are popular and successful and amazing, and I don't like them because it's just my personal opinion, and I don't go around screaming about it, because a lot of people get views from criticizing places, and I don't find that I don't find it attractive. I said a few times, I commented a few restaurants once, and I stopped after because I had people harassing me online for saying that something not very catastrophic, but okay. But overall, I feel like it's just a matter of taste. So not everyone is gonna like the way you dress. Not everyone is gonna like your boyfriend, and not everyone is gonna love the restaurant you have. Like, it's normal.
You just opened Zephyr in Monaco. How different was that to opening restaurants in Abu Dhabi and London?
It was probably the most smooth opening we've ever done.
Really? You would
Yeah.
say so?
Yeah. Even though, like, again, it's after that, like, I feel like opening in London would be so much easier just because you're home. And so I go back a few weeks ago, and I felt fully drained, where like I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to see my friends, I didn't want to do anything. I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna eat Nando's and watch a movie just because I'm drained. Probably because I didn't leave at home properly for some time. I didn't see my cat or didn't exercise. Exercising is actually important. I didn't exercise for since opening Lagana. It's been like an intense year. That's why, like, few intense years, but it feels great. People were very happy, and I feel like Monaco is living in a different time zone, and I love it.
I saw your TikTok, and all the comments were commenting about Carlos Sainz in the TikTok.
Yes?
Yeah.
Which one? I
think the Formula One driver or something.
Yeah. No, but we did have 2 Formula drivers coming in while I was there, so
That's interesting. But see, Monaco is like depicted as like the epitome of luxury in this world.
yeah.
Do you feel the need to like change Zephyr's personality to like, adapt to Monaco? Do you have any fears opening it there?
Yeah, of course, but we really wanted to stay true to what we have, and it was just different because it's a bigger spot. It's like the most beautiful area. Maritera itself is stunning, and no, I mean, we're trying to make it as close to what we believe in as possible, but it's obviously a bit more refined. It's a bit different, and you can't just, you have to adapt to the, not just Monaco, like you have to adapt to the location you're in. But one thing we really wanted to bring is just friendliness of stuff. Not like, I'm not saying people are not friendly there, but I'm just saying that probably we're a bit more open and close to people. Like, and some people don't really like it. They're like maybe more used to like fine dining and service and everything. Like they would go out to a restaurant and they would pour wine certain way, where like I'm not a fan of this, but like I'm not a fan of fine dining restaurants. So like it depends. I believe we're very different in Monaco. I believe there is a clientele for it, and I believe that people are excited. So let's see.
Wait,
Time will show.
Time will show.
Yeah.
Was it the same while opening Soraya in Abu Dhabi?
No. Soraya was just very different as well, because like Monaco has the clientele that we know. So Monaco does have people that are already familiar with our brand. Abu Dhabi for us was like a clean start, where it was the brand that started from there. So it wasn't something like bringing from London, it's just, it's new, it's exciting, it's different, it's scary. I don't know, it was a challenge. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Yara, and thank you for welcoming me into Nina.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening. This is Surreal with Farah. Bye.